Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a couple cute spring tops. If this is the first time you're seeing one of my videos, my name's Rachel. Thanks for stopping by. I like to make stuff here, and since I've primarily been sewing lately, you can expect to see a little bit of personal style chit chat here too. Okay, so I know it's still February, but here in San Francisco, the weather is pretty mild and I know spring is coming, so I thought it'd be fun to share with you guys a spring project. I do want to start making clothes before the next season so that when that season comes, I can wear all the things that I made in the previous season. So I'm getting a head start on my spring and summer projects. There are still things that I want to make that are kind of more cozy and stuff, and I will get to those too. But today I'm going to be making a spring top. Last summer I made a lot of cute basic tank tops. In the spring I made some dresses because we had some events last spring/summer. So this spring and summer I'm going to be focusing more on items that I can wear really easily but have a little bit of extra flair and pizzazz. Something that makes me feel kind of dressed up but requires no effort. So when I was thinking about my wardrobe, I realized that I kind of have a gap in like the blouse department. So if I wanted to wear just some jean shorts in the summer or some jeans, or if I wanted to wear some linen pants or something, I have stretchy tank tops, I have button downs, I have stuff like that, but I don't just have some like cute throw-on blouses in fun prints or pretty colors or anything like that. So when I kind of started looking through Pinterest and stuff just for some ideas, I kept seeing these really cute shirts that just had ties all the way down the front. I'll show you guys a couple examples here. And I do really love this style, but the only issue, I guess for me, is that I need to think about how my clothes move on me a little bit more these days, just because I have a kid, and so I'm going to be picking her up, I'm going to be chasing her, I'm going to be bending over. When I'm picking her up, her feet are moving my clothes and stuff. So I don't really think that I would be able to wear like the full split down tied in the middle tops comfortably without having to like adjust them whenever I picked her up or bent over or something like that. And then I came across this pattern right here, and it still has those ties and it has like a gathered bottom tier to it, but it's not split down the middle. So I feel like this kind of gives me the effect that I want without the potential wardrobe malfunctions. And I'll show you guys the fabrics I'm using. I'll show you the fabric that I thought of first when I saw this pattern, and that is this fabric right here. So I have been holding onto this fabric for a long time. This is a fabric that one of my good friends got for me when she was visiting India. She always goes fabric shopping when she goes there, so she picked up a bunch of different fabrics for me, and this is one of them. This one is hand block printed, so if you can see, it's so pretty, and you can tell that it's hand block printed because it's a little bit different all over, so it's not just like perfectly uniform, and I really love that about this fabric. It is this really nice buttery yellow color. It's kind of like a bright buttery yellow, and I just feel like it's really happy, but it also has like some nice calm colors in it too. These colors generally look good on me. And this is 100% cotton. It's a really nice lightweight cotton, so it's easy to wear, but it also feels really special. So before I cut into this fabric, I'm going to use this pattern on this old fitted sheet of ours. So this is a linen sheet. It's really nice linen. It's nice and soft. It's white, so I'll probably end up tea dyeing this at some point. So I'll definitely use my cotton thread when I'm sewing this. So yeah, this is a sheet that we had for a long time, and it just started developing some little holes. So it's really nice fabric. I'm gonna be using it for a few different projects, but I figured this would be the perfect project to use this on to make sure that I really like this pattern before I cut into my really special fabric. But also, I just feel like this fabric will be perfect for this type of shirt too. Okay, so I'm gonna go make the one in the white fabric first, and then I'll probably show you guys what that looks like, and then I'll take you guys along with me to make the final beautiful block printed version. So let's go. Okay, so I just finished cutting out all of the fabric for the first version that I'm going to be making. Something that I noticed when I was cutting out the fabric is that the middle of the sheet is pretty thin just from being worn out from us like moving around on it and stuff. So for this project, I used a bunch of the fabric from the perimeter of the sheet where it isn't so worn, and then I'll probably use that middle section for a different project because I feel like I can't use both the perimeter and the center because they don't really match. So I will be using that at some point, but I did cut out all of these pieces, and this is what they look like. I'd initially planned on doing the first version off camera and just showing you guys how it turned out so that I could film the second version, but I think it makes most sense for me to show you guys my first time through this pattern just so you can see my first impressions, and then second time around, if there are things that I change, I can show you guys. So first thing about this pattern, when you print it off, you definitely need to use a PDF reader and actually separate out the layers, because the first time I just printed it out all together and I figured that I could just count the lines to get my size and then like mark it and then cut it all out, but that was pretty impossible. So I ended up having to print it out again. And then the second time I printed it out, I realized I only selected my size layer and I didn't select, I think that there's a layer for all of like the guide markings. So all of the words on the pattern were gone, so I had to write those in. And then also all of the little guidelines to make sure that everything lines up correctly were gone. So I could have printed it out again. I didn't want to do that all over again. So I just kind of put it together. I think that it should be fine because all of the pieces that actually matter in terms of size, I think that they're all together correctly. The only thing is that some of the gathered pieces, like the bottom and the sleeves, they might be a little bit too wide because I may have not overlapped the piece of paper enough. So if those are too wide, it'll just mean that my shirt will turn out slightly more gathered, like so slightly more gathered. So I don't really think it's gonna affect the overall look and fit of the shirt, but that's just something worth noting is you definitely need to separate the layers in order to print out your size, and make sure that you include the layer that has all the information on it in addition to your size layer. I did cut out some fabric for the spaghetti straps. In the instructions there are no measurements or anything for spaghetti straps, so I guess you kind of just decide, like based on preference, how long you want your straps to be. So I've made mine pretty long, and I know that I can always go back and cut them and make them a little bit shorter. I am going to be using cotton thread for this project, and that's because all of this linen is super white. I might leave it like that, but if I do decide to change it, then using the cotton thread will make it easy to dye the whole thing and you won't have like contrast stitching. So I think right now I'm just gonna go and sew up those spaghetti straps, and then I'll probably start putting this together later tonight or tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Hey guys, so it's Monday now. I just rethreaded my serger, and I used a little trick that a few of you had suggested to me in the comments, and it actually worked. So it's when you clip the old serging thread and you tie on your new serging thread, and then you just feed it through your machine. So I was really worried that the little knots were gonna get stuck and it was gonna jam up my machine, but it actually worked. So that was much easier than rethreading it. So thank you guys so much. This will save me a lot of time. So the instructions, I was reading through them, and they are just written instructions. So there are no like photos or videos or illustrations or anything. So I was just kind of reading through them, and the first thing that it tells you to do is to gather the bottom parts of the front and the back. But I think I'm gonna save that for a little bit later because I wanna get the front and the back top finished, and then I can gather the fabric to match those finished pieces. So the first thing that it says is to serge around all the edges just to make sure it doesn't fray. I don't know if I'm gonna serge all of the edges. I'll probably leave like the bottom unserged. Should I do that? Maybe I will. On this linen, it does fray pretty easily. On the cotton, it may not be necessary. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm going to try to put the front yoke and the back yoke together. I do have all my straps here. For the front and the back, you are going to put these together right sides facing with these sandwiched in between them, so that when you turn them the other way, these are connected and it looks really clean and nice. So the top, front, and back are going to be doubled, and the bottom and then the sleeves are just gonna be one layer of fabric. So I'm going to go serge the edges, and then hopefully I'll be able to put these together. We'll see how far we get. My daughter's down for a nap, so we'll see how long she sleeps for. Okay, so I just finished the little front pieces, and this is what they look like all pressed. They look really neat. But the next step, it suggests doing some understitching, and I know that this isn't like a super necessary step, but I have done understitching before, and I feel like it does make a big difference. So basically what I'm gonna do is, since this is lined, see, the lining will have a tendency to kind of peek out from the inside, and it doesn't really matter as much because this is all the same color, but I'm gonna open this up, and I'm going to stitch the seam allowance to the lining side. So I'm just gonna run a stitch all the way down that, and then it won't peek out from the inside. But I'm not going to be able to do it all the way around. I'll probably do it to like here, and then I'll do it from here all the way to the edge. I'll do it along the neckline and along the middle, and then I'll do it on the back neckline as well. Okay, so I just finished the top part. I did add a little top stitch along the shoulders just to keep the seam allowance from like moving around. This is what it looks like so far. So these will tie in the front here, and then we'll add the gathered bottom part. So next I'm going to fold up all of these little edges here, and then I'm going to press them so that I can gather fabric and attach those in between these two layers of fabric. So we're going to do that on the front and the back, and then I think you do sleeves and then side seams. Okay, well, I'm going to go do that, and then I will see you guys later. Hi, okay, so it is Tuesday now, and I'm gonna try to finish the shirt today. So we'll see how far I have the top all finished. I just clipped along the bottom edge because I've already pressed all of these in. I might attach the bottom a little bit differently, and I'll show you guys that in a little bit. But first thing that I'm gonna do with the bottom is I'm going to take the two front pieces here, and I'm going to stitch them together front sides facing until this little notch. So it's gonna be open until like here. So I think I need to serge this edge so that when I fold this in, it'll be all finished on the inside. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I'm just gonna put them together right sides facing, and then I'm gonna turn this in and do a little top stitch on it. And then I'll show you guys how I attach it to the bottom of the front of the shirt. Okay, so I just attached those two front pieces together, and now I'm gonna gather the fabric. So I'm gonna do this for the front bottom and the back bottom too. So I'm gonna do 2 rows of really long stitches at the top of both of these, and then I can gather each of them to match each of these front top pieces. Also, it's only 2 in the afternoon, so if it looks like it's really dark here, it's just because it's a really stormy day. So I'll try to use this light as much as I can, but I might need to plug in my bigger light too, but we'll see. There's a cat here. Okay. I will put those together, and then I'll show you guys what the next step is. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. So I attached the back and front, and I tried to film it the best that I could, but I did a stitch in the ditch, which I don't think I've ever actually done this correctly. So I think it turned out really good. So the way that I did that is I sewed right sides facing on the front, and then I turned it over and put the lining piece over that same seam with a 1/4 inch folded down, so that when I flipped it back over and I stitched along the top, I stitched right over that seam, like right in the ditch. And when I put that stitch in there, then it caught this back edge. So I have a little tiny edge stitch on the inside, and then on the outside it's invisible. So I did that on the front and the back, and now I think we have to do sleeves. The stitch in the ditch thing isn't, I don't think that's what the instructions say. Let me check. Okay, so it says press the seam allowance on the front yoke to the wrong side. Place the lower front between the two layers, right side facing up. Pin and sew very closely to the folded edge to join. You can refer to the first video. Okay, so there's a little link in here where you can watch another video that kind of illustrates it. I think it's similar to stitching in the ditch though. So I just did that because I wanted to try it and it turned out really good. So I'll probably do this again. So next, I think I'm gonna be doing the sleeves. I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to do the side seams first. I should read the instructions, hold on. Okay, so I read the instructions. I have my two sleeve pieces right here and they're pretty wide. So it's gonna have me first do the side seams. So I'll do that. And then I'm going to add those two long stitches and then gather this so that it matches the circumference of the armhole opening. So I have to measure this and then I also have to measure this as it's gathering. And then after I gather it, I'm supposed to attach these sides together so you close the sleeve and then I can attach this to the shirt. So I'm gonna go do that and then I think we're almost done. Okay, so I just sewed my gathering stitches and I think I'm going to wait to actually gather this until I've put it into the sleeve hole. It does have notches on it, so I think that I can just line up the notches with the sleeve hole and then I'll be able to just gather it from there. Because once I gather it, even if I tie off each edge, the gathering is gonna shift around. So I'm just gonna put this together, stick it in the sleeve hole, and then I'm gonna gather it and pin it and then sew it. Okay, so I just attached one of the sleeves and I have to do the other one still, but I think I'm gonna do that one later on tonight and then I can film that with like some better lighting. So I will see you guys then. Hi. Okay, so it's Wednesday now. It's a much nicer day today, so the lighting is a lot better. Hopefully you'll be able to see me put on this sleeve a little bit better than you would have yesterday. This is what the shirt looks like so far. I also realized the pictures that go along with the pattern are not tops made with this actual pattern. This pattern is inspired by the shirt in the picture. So the shirt and the photos that go along with the pattern are a shirt by Emerson Fry. So it's not gonna be exactly the same. So I do feel like this is like a longer fit, so I'll probably end up cropping it up just a little bit more. I only have an hour to sew right now, so I'm going to attach this sleeve and then we'll see how much time I have left to do the hem and the elastic around the bottom of the sleeves. Okay, let's get started. Hey guys, okay, so I went and got my daughter from school and she's down for a little nap right now, but I wanted to show you guys the shirt that I finished. Here it is. It turned out so cute. I just tried it on and I'm really excited to show you guys, but I'll probably just try it on at the end of this video with the other one too. So I just thought I would talk through how this came together and what I'm gonna do differently on the next one. So on this one, I do feel like this size works for like this material and the look that I'm going for, but I don't really think I needed to size up to the medium. I typically wear a small, but I just didn't want this to be like constricting in the shoulders, and then I realize now that there's so much room up here that I don't think it would be in the small, so I don't really know why I sized up, but I do like how it looks. These shoulder seams kind of hang off the edge of my shoulders a little bit, which I feel like that goes with, you know, the feeling of this shirt. But I think for the next one, I want it to be more of a regular fit. So I'm gonna go with the small. And then also I'm going to add a little bit more width just in the bottom, front, and back panel to add a little bit more gathering here. It's gonna be a little bit more narrow in the shoulders, a little bit more gathered, and a little bit fuller on the bottom. And I also left these strings really long. I really love just like long drapey strings. I'll probably wear it mostly this way or this way. I might sometimes wear it all the way up. I don't really love the feeling of something tied right here. So I probably probably won't really wear it that way, but I think it's really cute all tied up because then you have 2 bows in the front. But we'll see. I'll try it on at the end so you guys can see all of the different ways that I can wear it. Also, I did crop it up 2 more inches, so I chopped 2 inches off the bottom, and then the hem is like a 1/2 inch. I do feel like this is the right length for the style of pants that I normally wear, so I could wear it untucked if I'm going to be wearing like mid-rise jeans or something. But if I'm wearing high-rise jeans, I could just do a little front tuck. But I'm so glad that I ended up making this shirt because I feel like I'm gonna wear it all the time. Just kind of a perfect, comfy, casual shirt that looks like you put a little bit of effort in. So I feel like this is just something that'll be really easy for me to throw on, that I'll feel good in. So I'm really excited to get started on the next one. I'm gonna go cut out that fabric. I'll just kind of zip through that one really quickly so you guys can see what they both look like at the end. Also, I do feel like I used the more difficult fabric the first time. So I know linen is typically really easy to work with, but the tricky thing about kind of a looser weave linen is that it likes to warp really easily. So I feel like the second time around will be even faster because I'm not going to have to worry about like readjusting the shapes of all of the pieces that I'm using like I did with this one. But yeah, I love how this turned out. I feel like using an old sheet is great because it's just like has that worn in feeling. It's nice and soft, and I've already washed this on hot and like dried it a ton. I know you're not really supposed to do that with linen sheets. That's probably why it got a hole in it. But yeah, this is definitely like pre-shrunk, pre-worn, pre-washed everything. So I feel like this is going to hold up really well and just wear really nicely. So I'm really excited to start on the next one, and I will show you guys what that ends up looking like. Alright you guys, well I just finished the shirts. I just finished this one this morning, and I've already worn this one already because I like it so much. I feel like this one was a little bit faster to make, and I think that's because this fabric was just a little bit easier to work with than the linen. I just think the feel of the 2 shirts is a little bit different, and that's totally fine with me. I feel like I'll get more wear out of both of them because of that. So the white one just feels a little bit more like breezy, laid back, cool. This one feels a little bit more cutesy, fun, it's puffier. I feel like they have 2 different looks. I made this one in the small and this one in the medium, which I think contributes to the different feels of the shirts. This one, I feel like it fits almost the same. The shoulders are a tiny bit more narrow, and then I did add more gathers on this one. So I added an extra 2 inches to the front panels and then 4 inches to the back panel too. When I tried this shirt on right after I made it, since I had been pressing it and everything, I put it on and it looked like a triangle. It was like so poofy. So I had to dunk it in some water and let it hang dry, and I feel like that really mellowed it out. It made all of the gathering come together a lot better, but yeah, I feel like this one has a little bit more volume to it, which I think is really fun, and just like the color and everything makes me happy. So I'm really glad that I used this fabric for something like this because I feel like I'm gonna wear this shirt all the time, and this is just a special fabric, and I've been saving it for something that feels special but is super wearable. So I'm really glad that I used this. I love how you can see just different variations in the printing because it's hand block printed, and I just think that's really cool. I will probably use the sewing pattern again now that I kind of understand the order of the steps that I want to do and like my own interpretation of the instructions. If I tried making this shirt when I first started sewing 2 years ago, I think it would have been pretty frustrating. I wasn't able to find a video anywhere of anybody making this shirt. So if you are just starting out sewing and you want to make this shirt, shirt. I hope that my video helps you out a little bit. I know it wasn't really like a tutorial, but I think just having a visual of all the steps really helps if you're not super familiar with all of the different ways that a garment can come together. None of the steps were really challenging or really tricky. It was just interpreting the instructions that I could see being tricky for somebody who isn't super experienced with sewing. Also, when I printed the pattern for the size small, I did realize that there's a box that you need to check to have all of the written details on the pattern pieces that I didn't print out with this one. So I only selected the medium layer for this pattern, but I selected the small layer and all of the text for this one, and it was super helpful. So make sure you do that. Okay, so I think that's everything that I have for you guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider doing that. If you like this video, then like this video. And if you didn't like this video, I hope you like the next one. All right, I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you later.